Hi folks, in this video we're going to be looking at painting a desolated waste space for your wargaming miniatures. So without any further ado, let's cue the music. To start out, I'll be adding some visual interest into the space with a small piece of slate. I've used some from a tub from Warlord games, but you could use cork bark or from any other hobbyist provider if you wanted to use slate. And I'm going to quickly glue this small piece down using some super glue. The brand doesn't matter, this is just to get some visual interest onto the base. You are happy with the placement of the small piece of slate or cork bark, come in with your favourite sandy earth texture paint. In this case I'm using Armageddon Dust from Games Workshop, and paint all over the base on the areas that the slate isn't. If you want to have the slate looking like it's jutting out from underneath the earth, then you can cover up some small areas where the slate touches the earth. If you've got any bits that are raised up, pointing upwards, be very careful putting them underneath so you get that nice visual level and gaps without looking like it's not supposed to be there. Make sure you give this plenty of time to dry before you move on to the next step. Once this is dried, it should look something like this. I'm using some Wash FX Rust effects to add some interest into the earth and to the rock on this base. And I have put a couple of drops onto my palette, and I'm going to take a damp brush, not saturated with water, but damp just to help aid this separate and flow a bit more. And I'm going to do an all-over wash over everything on this base. As you can see, this is quite a stark orangey tone, but this will, once dried, leave a much more matte finish and will be quite less stark than it initially appears as it goes on. If you want, you can dry this quickly using a hairdryer on a low setting, but do be careful doing this. And here we can see with the Vallejo Rust Effects wash dried, it has given some nice orangey earth tones without being too overpowering, and some colour variation into the rock. To highlight this, I'm going to give this a quick dry brush with rakarth flesh from Games Workshop, and I'll be using this same dry brush colour on the rock as well as onto the earth. If you think that you, just like there, do too much and you get that streaking effect, just give the paint a quick wipe with your thumb and it should clean up nicely off the slate. As with all dry brushing, it is very difficult to take away from this effect, but it is very easy to add more. I would always recommend building up the colour softly and slowly so you have complete control into how much of a transition or highlight that you want. And there is no right or wrong amount that you can do on this. It is just a matter until you are happy with it. Focus on doing small, soft passes until you get a highlight colour that you like. At the point of visual interest, you can apply some of your favourite static grass or tufts to this base to give it more of a plains feel rather than a desert field. Here I'm using dead grass static grass from Warlord games, just dabbed into the PVA glue for interest. And here we have the finished Desolated Plains base for your wargame miniatures. This is a really nice, fast and simple base to do, and if you have darker colour miniatures in blues and browns and dark greens, this is a really nice way of making them stand out on the tabletop. If you liked this tutorial, why not consider subscribing? It's free of charge, you help me out, and you get further videos just like this one in your newsfeed. So, until next time folks.